In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to add music to DayZ using my music mod. I'll show you how to create your own custom cassette tapes and get music playing in game through the car radio and through boomboxes that you can spawn in.
Everything up here is new.
Today's video is inspired by a Buy Me a Coffee supporter. Someone sent me some coffees and said, I want to congratulate you on your knowledge. I need help setting up my music mod. Now they asked if I could personally help them set it up. Unfortunately, I just don't have the time to do that for people. I get asked every day, multiple times, from multiple people asking me to help them with their server. I just can't do it. I appreciate the coffee. I really appreciate it. But no one can pay me enough money to help them with their server. It's an absolute nightmare. I spend way too much time managing my own server as it is. That being said, I don't want to be a dick about this. I do want to share my knowledge. And in today's video, I want to create a guide for anyone to do this. I can't help people individually with their server, but I can create a guide for future reference for all people who run this mod, my music mod, on how to add cassettes, music cassettes to their own server, and a brief guide of the JSON config. At some point, I'd like to create guides for all my mods, but let's start with the music mod since this is what this person asked me to do. All right, first things first, we need to download and install the DayZ tools. So make sure to come to Games in your Steam library, click Tools, look for, in the list here, mine will be favorited, but you need to find DayZ tools. If I remove that from favorites, it will be in alphabetical order right here. And I recommend favoriting it if you plan to use it a lot. Once you have it installed, launch it. I know this is really basic, but I'm walking you through this step by step, so even a complete non-computer person can figure this out. So we've installed DayZ tools, we've run it. We now need to go to settings, make sure this is ticked, automatic mount of the project drive. It should be ticked by default, so I can close out of that. We can close out of this and come back to it later. Now, if you open up your PC drive or icon in Windows Explorer, you should have a P drive here now. If you don't have a P drive, leave a comment down below. Maybe someone will help you figure it out if I can't. Your P drive is where the DayZ mods go. So now we can open up this P drive. And what we need to do now, if we're going to add music cassettes, we need to create a new mod folder. So we could just simply right click, new folder. I'll call this Zen Music YouTube. We then need to open this folder, create a new text file called config.cpp and delete all the other stuff there. So you just have config.cpp. Click yes when it says you're going to change a name extension. That's fine. And we're done. We have a starting template to work with. Now I recommend adding a data folder. This is where we'll put our music files, song files. So we're nearly ready to start doing that. All we need to do now is open up this config.cpp file in a text editor. You can do this in Notepad. I recommend using something like Notepad++, at least Notepad++, which is a free program you can download, and it looks like this. It's a bit easier to read the text that's going on here because it's all color-coded, but for this particular example, that's overkill. We don't even need that. We can just use Notepad. So I'll just use Notepad for this example so that those of you who aren't too tech savvy don't have to go and download new software and all of that. The next thing we need to do is go to the video description below, and there'll be some code in there we need to copy and paste into here, and it will look something like this. If I open up Notepad++ and close all this crap, I'll bring up an example mod that I actually use, Zen Music HDZ. This is for my DayZ server, hardcoredayz.com. This is some template examples here. So I'm going to I'll copy all of this into a new file and delete most of it because I have like, I don't know, 100 tapes in here. You probably won't need that many. Okay, this is what your text file will look like when you copy it from the link below. This is the template base mod code. The only thing you need to change is this here. Rename this to whatever your mod is called. Ideally, it should be the same as your mod folder here. So whatever you name your music mod pack, name this that as well. You don't need to touch anything else. Don't touch this stuff. That's all to tell the game that we need my music mod present before this mod will work. The only thing you need to change is this stuff here, and I'll walk you through what it is. So this class, your cassette song, is your item class name. This is what you put into your types XML file, which I'll show you how to do later, to spawn it into the world. Display name is what the players see in game as the item name. So this is your item type. This is what the server calls your item when it tries to spawn it. This is what it says in game when you hover your mouse over it, and this is the description. Play seconds is how long the audio file is. So I'll show you how to get an audio file into the mod in a moment. Once you have that audio file, you can right click it, go properties, go details, and that's this number here. So multiply 3 by 60 and then add the remaining seconds on to get your play seconds. So this example song that we're working with is 184 seconds long. We need to make this accurate because the server needs to simulate playing the music on the server side so that it knows when to stop playing the music and stop syncing it to new players who log in near the music playing, or if you're driving your car and you drive up to a player. This helps the server sync and simulate the audio file playing, the duration of the file. So make sure this is accurate. There's 2 song names here. I only have 1 song file in our data folder. I just left 2 examples in here to show you how to add more than 1 song. So all you need to do is change the number on the end of the item name. Make sure play seconds is accurate to the audio file. And then this here is your file path. It needs to match your mod folder. Then data, and then the name of the song file. So this is song1.ogg. So I put song1 in there. If I had 2 songs in here, I'll just duplicate this. This is exactly the same song, but it could be a second song. Now we have 2 music songs, music files in our music mod. So these need to be accurate file paths within our mod. And then this sound shader part needs to match this here. So if I copy this and paste it in there, that needs to match that. And this needs to match the file path. And this part, zen_cassette_song1, needs to match this. So I need to actually rename these to your. I'll rename all of these. So you can replace your with your name. So if I just Control F and replace with your name, replace all. Now I've renamed all of our prefixes so that when you go in game and spawn this item, you can type in your name to bring them up quicker. So just to go over this one more time, because I know it's a bit confusing in the beginning. All you need to do is rename this to whatever you named your folder, your mod folder, and then change your name. Just go through and change every occurrence of your name to whatever your modding name is, whatever your server name is, whatever you want to call this. You can even leave it as it is if you want to. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure it's consistent for all of these. In game, the sound set is what plays the sound file, and this needs to match the class name of the cassette. So we have your name underscore cassette underscore song1. That needs to match this exactly. So underscore sound set on the end. Sound shaders needs to link to this first sound shader, song1, and song1's sound shader. All you need to do is make sure this file path is accurate. So it needs to be your mod folder, data, and then the song. So mod folder, data, and then the song. That's it. That's it for the CPP file. If you want to add more songs, you just copy this, paste it in there, change the number, change the play seconds, copy this, paste it in there, change the number here, make sure that file exists, copy this, paste it in there, change that number, and change that number. And now we've added a third cassette. Then you can change the display name, the description, and make sure the play seconds is accurate to the song file. But I'll remove those since we have 2 songs here that are working, and that's a template to build on. A link to this will be below. Alright, this will do. I found some no copyright music from the 30s and 40s. This song will have to do as an example. So what I need to do now is get a hold of the audio file for this. So I can just copy this part of the YouTube video, YouTube to MP3 converter. There's a bunch of them out there that are free. Paste the link in there and convert. There is one step that we need to go over as well, which does require installing a piece of software. We need to find Audacity. So type Audacity into Google, or there'll be a link below in the video description. Come to downloads. Don't download this one because it comes with this fucking Muse Hub shareware piece of crap software that we don't need, and it's just bloating the software up. Obviously, this company bought Audacity. It was a free open source platform. It's still free, but you need to download like this stupid launcher thing, which comes with a bunch of software and advertisements. Skip all of that. Come to scroll down here to download older versions and just download this 64-bit installer, this one here. I'll leave a link to this file below. So click on this, download it, and we can double click this file and install this software. Install it anywhere, doesn't matter, just go through the default settings, install it. Once you have it installed, bring it up by searching for Audacity, and this is what it will look like. Don't freak out, it's not hard to use. All we need to do now is get a hold of our music file. So remember, I'm getting mine off YouTube. I'm going to copy the URL to this, convert this file into an MP3 file, download. Once that's done, open up the folder. This is the file we want. Now what we need to do is bring up Audacity and drag our file into Audacity, like that. You'll see this wavelength file. We're nearly done. All we need to do now is come to File, Export Audio, select Format, and come down to OGG Vorbis files. This is DayZ's audio format for files in DayZ. And now we need to browse to our P drive and then come down to where we created our folder. So Zen Music YouTube data. And now I'll call this file just song1. Put song1 in the file name, save, export, done. Now we can close Audacity, open up our P drive, Zen Music YouTube data, and we have our song1.ogg file. Now all we need to do is make sure this file path here matches. So Zen Music YouTube data, and then song1.ogg. You don't need to put the .ogg in the file path here. That's it. So now we can save that file and move on to the next step. So I have a test server set up here. If you don't know how to set one of these up, I have videos on my YouTube channel to show you how to do that. Go back and check some of my old videos for that information. I'm going to skip this part entirely, and we're going to publish this directly to the workshop, and I'll show you how to get it running on your DayZ server, on your dedicated machine. I'm just going to pack this directly into my P drive. So just pack, and that's done. I can go to P, and here at the top is my file. Now, if you have a server pack full of mods that you've repacked and you upload into your own server pack, you can put this PBO file directly into that server pack. And that's the recommended way to do this. However, if you don't have a server pack and you're just running my music mod independently, and you just want to add your own music to your server without messing with a server pack, then this is what we have to do. So now what we need to do is set up our folder structure to publish this to the workshop. So we can go to packed mods, and in here I can say at Zen Music YouTube. That's the name of my mod. Open this up, paste that PBO file in there, create a new folder called addons, and drag that file into addons. So this is the structure. We have our mod name with an @ symbol at the start. We open that up, we create a new folder called addons. We put our PBO file into that folder, and then we need to come back and create a new folder called keys. And now what we need to do is bring up the DayZ tools, and we need to open DS utils. So click on this box here, and you won't have a private key yet, so you'll need to create one. So click on this little N button and type in your modding name here. It could be anything, doesn't really matter. Just type in a name here, or your server name, anything that is unique to you. Open up the destination path and just make it your P drive. So just click on P, click OK, create key. Make sure to protect this key well, because if you lose it, you'll have to create a new one, which is fine For most people, this doesn't matter, but if you're going to make lots of mods, it's a good idea to keep this safe, keep a copy of it safe somewhere on your computer where you won't lose it. Click OK. Now if we come to P and scroll up, we have these two files here. So what we need to do now is you can leave the private key where it is, but cut this your modding name.by key, Bohemia interactive key. Come down to wherever you put your packed mods. So I've got @packed mods folder here with a bunch of packed mods in it. And here is the mod I'm working on. You could put this directly in the P drive, doesn't really matter. You just need somewhere to put this folder. Once you have this folder, come inside, go into keys and paste that file in there. Not this file, private key. You want to keep that one private. For the public key, that's this one here, and it goes in the keys folder. If you don't put it in the keys folder, your mod won't work properly when you upload it to your server. So now that we have our private key, leave this as it is. This is the URL or file path to our private key, this file here. If you move this, just make sure to update the file path here to that key. Once you have that selected, come to add source directory, come down to P drive. I have my packed mods folder, and then I have my Zen Music YouTube folder. I can click on that, click OK. Make sure scan subdirectories is turned on, and then we click process files, click yes. And once this is green, nothing to do, we are done. And if I come back out to our folder and go into the add-ons folder, we now have our mod signed with our private key ready to upload to the workshop with our song inside of it. So that process is really simple. We just come to publisher and this will pop up. I have a bunch of mods here, just ignore them. We're going to start a new mod here. So I'll call this Zen's Music YouTube example. I'll set it to public. Tags don't really matter. I'll just select sound. Doesn't matter what you put there. Ignore everything else here. Just come to mod content, open this folder, come to your P drive, packed mods, and then there's our mod there, Zen Music YouTube, select folder. As long as it says signatures all signed, we're good to upload. You can give it an example description here. You can create a thumbnail if you want to, or you can just leave it as it is. Click I agree. So now we've got everything set up. I can just click publish, and that will publish my mod. And for some reason with DayZ mods on Steam, we have to upload it twice or it won't work on your server. So now that that's successfully uploaded, we need to scroll down and find the mod you just published, open up mod content, select that folder again, and update the mod just once. You don't have to change anything, you just need to upload it twice. And that generates some files on Steam that we need for our server to be able to read the mod properly. Our mod is now on the Steam workshop. If you're using Omega Manager to run your server, manage your server, which you should be if you're using a dedicated machine, if you're using Nitrado or something like that, you'll just need to add this mod however they do it through the Steam workshop. I'm not sure how you do that, but however you added my music mod, the original bass music mod, do the same thing with this mod. Keep in mind it could take up to half an hour or so for this to actually appear on the workshop on your server, depending how often it scrapes the workshop for new files. But anyway, our file is now on the workshop. All right, the next step is to make sure these items will actually spawn in game. So on your dedicated machine or Nitrado server, whatever you use to host your server, come to your map folder. So Chernarus++, if you're running Chernarus, DB, and then open the types folder. In here, we need to search for an item similar to the one we want to spawn. So let's just search for electronic repair kits. Copy the electronic repair kit entry, come back up to the top of our types file and paste it in here. Change the nominal to something a lot smaller than 50, like 6 and 3, for example. Quant min max doesn't really matter. We can set these to -1 if you want to be consistent, because cassettes don't have a quantity. Now we need to open up our config file for our mod, and this is the item's class name. This is its display name in game that players see, and this is the item type. We need to copy this item type into the type's name here. So now this will spawn 6 cassettes with this item type in our server in industrial areas on shelves. If you have more than one song, just copy this, duplicate it, change the name. That's it. Also make sure that you have my music files added to your types as well. These are found inside the Zen Music mod folder. If you download it on your computer, you can open up the DayZ launcher, go to mods. I don't actually have my music mod installed, but I do have my enormous mod pack here somewhere. If we come down to the bottom here, Zen's enormous package, bring this down, click on this little drop down box here and click open folder in Windows Explorer, click I understand. This will open up your workshop folder. Open up my Zen music folder or my mod pack folder, come to types or extras, whatever there'll be a bunch of folders in here, extras, types. We're looking for this type here, zenmusic.xml. Open this up and copy all of these types, not this part, just these type parts, into your types folder. So what you can do is just come up here to the start of Zen Boombox, click there, come down to the bottom of the text file, copy all of this, ignore the bottom one, you can delete that, and just copy all of this into your types file here, paste it in, and adjust these numbers. Nominal is how many the target number you want spawned on the server, and minimum is the minimum number of items in the world before the game will start to respawn them. So if we set this to 6 and this to 3, then the game will spawn 6 cassettes in, and then as players pick them up or they despawn, when it gets down to 3 in the world, it will respawn another 3 and we'll have 6 in the world. So it'll sort of ebb and flow between these two numbers in terms of how many items are in game. And that's it for adding the items to our world. Make sure to save that types file. And now if I come to my test server and mods, hopefully my mod is now on the workshop. So here is my test server. I'm using the Architect Manager, which is the latest version of CF Tools. If you don't have this, you can find instructions on how to get it running on the CF Tools website in their Discord. You need to join their Discord to get a beta license key. If you're using the classic Omega Manager tool, it's the same process. Just go to where you install your mods, add a workshop mod, and search for the mod you just uploaded. Keep in mind, it could take a while for this to show up. This took nearly an hour before it would actually show up here. I'm not sure, I can't confirm this, but I think if you subscribe to it with your own Steam account, that does speed the process up. I think if no one is subscribed to it, sometimes it takes longer to show up. I could be completely wrong about that, but that just seems to be my experience when I publish a new mod. Sometimes it won't show up at all until I subscribe to it myself, and there's at least one player subscribed to the mod. Anyway, once you find your mod in the list, make sure to install my base mod. If you haven't repacked my base mod into your server pack, then you need to at least be running the mod standalone on your server like this. Otherwise, our mod won't run at all because it requires my base mod as a dependency. So now we can add my mod, download and install it. This is my example music mod we just made and packed and published, and it only has one example song in it. All right, now that's installed. I have just VPP admin tools so that I can do some testing in game. We have my music mod and my new example mod. So now if I launch my server, I'll boot into it in game, update my mod here first, make sure that's up to date. All right, we're in. So now let's make sure our item exists before we do anything. Your name, cassette song. There it is. Item exists. Spawn it in. There it is. Example song for YouTube video. Next step is to make sure it plays. So let's spawn in a boombox and a battery. Put the battery in there. Put the cassette in there. And let's switch it on. There we go. Working. And that's it. That's how you add music to DayZ using my music mod. Or anything. It doesn't have to be music. Could be tapes, voice tapes for quests, whatever you want. The last thing I want to mention before we wrap up is the JSON config for the mod. So if we come into profiles, come into Zenarchist, come into Zen music config, let me explain what some of this does. Allow car inventory will allow you to access your player inventory while inside the car. This is necessary for being able to put cassettes in the cassette slot in the car. So I recommend leaving this on unless you have a really good reason to leave it off. Static boombox autoplay is an advanced thing. Check out my GitHub for instructions on how this works. This is for spawning a static boombox in-game, which will play random music if a player starts playing it. So for like safe zones, things like that, people can listen to music while they're hanging out. We have static boombox invisible. This is for an invisible boombox, which will play music. I personally use this on my DayZ server. I'm running expansion and I have an NPC that sits with a guitar and plays music. So this is for guitar music that plays on the guitar player in my safe zone. The boombox itself is invisible. It just spawns underneath the guitar playing NPC. Down here, we have radio boombox. Again, check out my GitHub for instructions on this. This is where we can specify what items are allowed to play the radio in game. So the radio will play if you start playing music on any of these items without a cassette in the cassette slot. It will automatically randomly play songs from this list. It's like an in-game radio. So car script means you can play these radio songs in cars. Boombox means you can use the boombox as well to play music. You could put any item in here that it has to be a music playing item, like my cassette player, the Walkman, the boombox, or a car. And then this is where you put in these songs you want to randomly play on the in-game radio. Leave intermission songs as this unless you want to remove the intermission where the player says like you're listening to 87.8 Survivor FM. There's a bunch of AI generated audio, or you can replace this. So this is a cassette. It's actually a cassette item class name. So you could come up with a class name here for your own intermissions for the radio and put them in there. If you want to add your custom cassettes, these ones, to the radio, you need to add them to this list. So if I delete all of these and put that in there, comma, and change that to 2. Don't put a comma on the final element in the list. This will now cycle between these two songs that we set up in our mod. And that's it for this guide. That's all the information I want to dump on you in one video. I could go into more detail about this stuff. I could show you how to split up your types so that you can keep them organized. As you can see in here, I have all of my mod types put into individual folders. That's all kind of outside the context for this. I showed you today how to put it all into the base types file. In future videos, we'll go over some XML config stuff. But for now, that'll do it for this video. I don't want to overwhelm you guys with too much information. Hopefully that is helpful. If you can't get this working, then just follow the guide step by step. Go over it again and again till this makes sense to you, because this is really basic stuff. And if you can't get this stuff working on your server, you're going to have all kinds of trouble with other mods as well. So if you want to add custom content to your DayZ server, this is the bare basics of adding music using my music mod. And it only gets more complicated from here if you want to add specialized custom content. So wrap your head around this stuff first if you're new to DayZ modding. This will really help you lay a foundation for adding content to your server in the future. With that said, I'll wrap this up here. Hope you found it helpful. Speak with you in the next one.